Hey, what's going on, you guys? It is Blake from the BlakeMan9 here, and today we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at Ubisoft's The Division. Now, take in mind that this is indeed the beta, and this is actually some pre-recorded footage. I was going to make a video on it today, because the beta was supposed to end at 4 p.m. PST. It is currently 2:58, and the beta is no longer available, so I'm a little bit confused by that. But at the same time, I'm willing to deal with it because that beta was actually a really great experience, honestly, in my opinion. And so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about that today. So as you guys can see from the video footage, this was taken when me and my friend Jake were trying to play. I was just getting into the game. I had no clue what I was doing. So we were just kind of running around trying to figure out how the game ran, how the graphics looked, which it actually looks surprisingly good. As you guys may know, I have two 980 Ti's in this system and a 5930K. I don't quite remember. I just updated my CPU and I already forgot. But this game actually does have support for SLI, and I was getting an average of 100 FPS, give or take, sometimes dropping into the 80s if there was a lot of enemies around, especially in the dark zone when there was a snowstorm or something more intensive like that when it taxes the GPU. But for a majority of the time, the FPS was certainly well above what I expected, especially considering this is a game from Ubisoft. And that is the company that everyone knows in the PC community that just keeps on digging. So as you guys can see in this section right here, the game actually looks really good. Now, if I had something to say about it, I would say the reflections aren't as strong or as clear as I would hope they would be, and they're not actually dynamic. So as you guys can see, my friend Jake is standing there and he's not being depicted by the reflections. But I don't think there are many games that actually do that, but you know, they should, because this is PC and we got power for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into the question. Should you pre-order The Division? If you guys haven't already, I would actually say yes. Now, I certainly would not pay $60 for this game. I would go on Kingwin or G2A, maybe pick it up there for, I believe, $32. I'm gonna look it up right now. 43 bucks. They actually had a sale on it the other day where it was 35. See, I actually got it through the Humble Bundle, and we got an exclusive t-shirt, so we were like, why the fuck not? Plus, we can sell the other keys on Kingwin, so, you know, either way, we're getting the game for a pretty good price. So yeah, as you guys can see, I keep on running back to this for some reason, but the graphics in this game are actually way better than I expected. Now, they're of course not as good as they were at E3 or other announcements in the trailers and such, but it's honestly not as bad as I was expecting, because as you guys may have known, there was a big deal about Ubisoft saying that consoles actually were the reason why the graphics were held back in this game. One of the developers actually straight up admitted that this was the problem. However, they ended up backtracking and somebody above him said, no, he took it out of context, blah, 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 whatever. It was a big deal. And they totally just kept digging their hole. They just kept on fucking digging. So here we are in the Division open beta. As you guys can see here, as I pull up the map very conveniently, there is actually a pretty good amount of space that was playable during the open beta, including a section of the dark zone, which is by far my favorite part, as it is the section where you can actually play with other players. So me and Jake here playing co-op, we're kind of in our own instance here. Now there's no other players around besides him and I, except for in Camp Hudson. So while you're running around the normal map, you're not going to be finding any other random players. You're only going to be finding AI enemies and AI civilians and stuff like that. However, when you cross over into the dark zone, that's where PvP is available. So you can shoot the shit out of anyone. However, there is a ramification of that where if you do shoot somebody, you turn rogue. And rogue means you're on the map, and anyone who kills you gets bonus XP, bonus money, and bonus loot from that. So that's one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind, because when you do go rogue and you do die, you will lose XP and money. Now, you lose XP and money no matter what if you die in the dark zone, which just kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. You're not going to want to be dying all the time. You're not going to want to be shooting up every single person you see, unless you're like me and Jake at the end of the beta, where we had extremely OP weapons, which is why I'm kind of sad the beta ended. I kind of wanted to show it to you guys. I had about 4,000 DPS on my primary weapon, which was like a burst fire MP5. Anyways, for those of you who didn't do the beta, you would have no clue what I'm talking about. But speaking of stuff that was in the beta, was kind of the looting system. You kind of get the idea of how weapon pickups, how item pickups work in the game. So you can get kind of like clothing. So I had pants, jackets, they have hats, they have shoes, they have pretty much everything you can think of. And that is all picked up by killing enemies. So in the dark zone, you get much better loot, as you would expect, because the enemies out there are a lot harder. So you kind of find like named enemies that have a specific name on them. They have extremely high amounts of armor, extremely high amounts of health. And when you kill them, you can get stuff like superior items, you can get better they kind of range. I don't really know how exactly I would want to say it, but there's kind of like gray items, green items, blue items, and purple items. There's also yellow items, which are considered high-end, which could be bought in the safe zone. Not the safe zone, the safe house in the back of the dark zone. So the dark zone really seems like the place that you're gonna wanna be as soon as this game comes out, because the way that it worked is that only people of the same level as you were in the same dark zone as you. So me and Jake couldn't actually play together until I reached level 8, so I had to kind of grind up a little bit for that. But once you get there, the Dark Zone XP works separately from the main game XP, which is kind of an interesting idea. So the XP that you gain in the Dark Zone only applies to the Dark Zone, so you don't actually level up your character with normal XP. You know, it's just kind of a very interesting way of doing things. What is really cool about the Dark Zone, however, is that in order to get those higher level looted items out, is you have to extract them. Now this is a pretty tense subject when you first get into the Dark Zone and you're having your first extraction ever. Pretty much what it is, there are designated zones in the Dark Zone. I've been saying Dark Zone a lot this video. So there's a lot of specific zones in the DZ that you can use to extract your items. Now what you do is you run over there, you shoot off a flare, and a helicopter will show up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now within those 1 minute and 30 seconds, you're kind of just a sitting duck waiting for this helicopter to come out. Not to mention that when the helicopter actually does come out to collect your items, only 4 people can extract per helicopter. So a majority of the time, people are actually pretty peaceful at these extraction zones because they're trying to get their shit out of the Dark Zone. So what happens is everyone's fighting over that one thing. Or you could be a complete douchebag like me and Jake do sometimes and completely shoot the shit out of everyone there and take all their stuff, and then you get the one extracted and everyone else just gets completely screwed over. So in the long run, this video's actually been going on for a long time, considering I'm just kind of sitting here rambling about this beta, which in my opinion was an amazing beta. Honestly, I'm extremely proud of Ubisoft, the fact they made a decent game. It's been a very long time since there's been a really amazing game that's come from Ubisoft, and in my opinion, I think The Division may actually be that game to get this year. Especially since the graphics were so hyped at E3, everyone on the PC community especially knew they were just totally gonna fuck it up. Somehow, they actually kept graphical fidelity at a pretty high standpoint, and their optimization of the game is actually extremely good. Because I'm maxing it out completely. Everything's maxed out, including anti-aliasing, and I'm still hitting 100 FPS. Now, however, you want to keep in mind that my graphics card setup is a little bit more than the average person would spend on their gaming rig. But my friend Jake was playing also at around medium or high, I believe, and he was still able to hit 60. So it's not like this game is extremely intensive, even though its graphical fidelity is actually very high. So in a nutshell, is The Division worth pre-ordering? I would say yes. However, I would not pay this full $60. I would go ahead and buy it for $40. This game is definitely worth $40 or even $50 in my opinion. In fact, I wouldn't be too hard pressed to spend $60 to get it from a legitimate company other than Kingwin and G2A. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and you kind of, I don't know, like this different style of video that's not me screaming like a little fucking bitch every 2 seconds and instead actually having a decent conversation about a video game. So I hope that you guys enjoyed and didn't mind the different change of pace. And if you guys actually managed to get into the beta, it was an open beta, but if you guys participated in the beta, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. I'll actually put a poll up in the top right on that card. I just learned about polls. They're actually kind of cool. I didn't know about them. So you guys can try out the poll if you guys haven't seen them before. And I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you guys would like to see more videos like this one, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. I will certainly be uploading some more Division content by the time the game comes out. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.